9 podcasts.
And she was doing this dance, and it was like, hey, let's go, hey. And then these grown men like, hey, and like putting their arms in and stuff. It was unbelievable.
Try before you die.
Welcome to your Thursday with Try Before You Die. I always try and get it. You have to always have the first word every time we start the podcast.
How boring was your intro? Yours was welcome. Mine was I'm wearing earrings today.
Oh, how interesting is yours?
But I normally don't. Do you know what I mean? I just think we need to be a bit more sort of interesting in the way we
my God,
draw people
that
in.
Was so interesting.
But I don't normally wear earrings. I don't know why I've suddenly popped them on today.
Yes,
you
do.
Sleep with yours in, don't you?
No.
I thought you
these.
did. Not those specifically, but you've got some
sometimes
some huggies that you sleep with. But what I don't like about wearing earrings nonstop, and some people never take them out, is that I find them hard to lie on when you're sleeping, but also when you pull them in and out and put fresh earrings on, oh my God, the crust that comes off.
Like clean them more.
Well, that's why I don't ever put them in, because I don't want the stank.
All right, well, I'm so glad we covered that off. What an interesting start to the show.
More interesting than hello and welcome.
It's going to get
for sure.
more interesting.
This is probably up there with one of my favourites.
Oh, favourites in terms of just not like loving it as in we want to do it forever and ever and ever, but just loving it. The experience of it
was eye-opening. Incredible. So what we're talking about is that we tried an ANIMAGA Convention.
ANIMAGA. We still don't know how to say it, to be fair.
We will be very open and honest with you. We did no research going in to this convention festival, whatever in God's name it was. We went in completely blind.
We knew nothing. Literally the only thing I knew was that anime was some sort of Japanese cartoon animation situation. And there's like TV shows surrounding it.
I barely knew that.
That's all I knew. And I said previously that a 10-year-old introduced me to this because he had decorated his room with anime, which I was like,
What's anime?
God's name.
That was in 2023. That was when I think we were introduced to the word anime, but I didn't do anything with it after that.
Can I also say, this convention that we went to was called ANIMAGA, ANIMAGA, right? But then the things that it actually combines is anime, so that's where the ANI comes from.
Yes.
And manga, MANGA, except the end of the ANIMAGA is MAGA. Why isn't it MANGA?
Why isn't it Animanga?
I'm
now,
so confused.
Here's the issue. As I said, we went in having done no research, and that was for two reasons. One, we're lazy. And two, we wanted an authentic, shocking experience.
Yeah.
At one point, I pulled a young lad aside, and I said, and he had a chainsaw coming out of his head, and I said, I'm here to experience this for the first time. I would like you to tell me or explain to me what on earth is going on here. And he said, well, it's a combination of anime and I thought he said mega, but he must have said manga.
Yeah, well, it's manga. Oh, I don't...
And so that was the moment that I discovered that's where Animaga, or is it Animaga? I'm still not sure.
I seriously don't know.
Maga, Animaga, Maga. I think it's Maga. Shit, Burs. I still don't know.
I don't know either.
But what even is manga?
Okay, so I'll give you a bit of context into what both of these things are. So anime is a Japanese animation/cartoon style. Outside of Japan, anime denotes animation movies that come exclusively from Japan, distinguished by blazing graphics, energetic characters, and themes such as sci-fi, romance, and supernatural forces. It's been around for almost a century, which is baffling to me, given that we only knew about this 2 years ago.
What's a century, 100 years?
Yeah. So the first one was released in 1917 and was about 4 minutes long. And you picture those, I actually saw it online. You know, you picture those old sort of Snoopy, really, really old animations. It was like that.
Like old Mickey and Minnie Mouse gear.
That sort of gear. So it's been popular in Japan ever since then, and then sort of came to America in the 60s and had a significant surge in popularity in Australia since the 1990s. And then in 2000s, when you think about Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon.
Oh,
they're all the anime sort of thing. So they're the only things that kind of sprung to mind when when I read anime, I was like, oh, yeah, I know those, but there's a lot we do
And
not
is that
know.
because their origins are Japanese, like they're Japanese cartoons as
I
opposed
think
to just
so.
ordinary cartoons?
And
I still don't really understand what's going on.
so the distinctive anime art style is large, expressive eyes, extended limbs, exaggerated expressions, and colourful hairstyles, which we saw an abundance of.
spades.
The storylines are often wild and incomprehensible. The tale of a boy who becomes rubber after eating devil fruit before turning to piracy on the high seas. But there can also be graphic violence and even sexual undertones along the way, so
good
it's kind of a
Lord.
bit bizarre. So then manga or manga, however the hell you say it, is a style of Japanese comic book.
Yeah, or graphic novels is what I discovered in my research.
Yeah, and interestingly, it's read from right to left.
What?
Yeah.
But is that how you read? Is that how Japanese read their characters though?
I don't know.
Like,
I
as
really
in, you
don't
know what? Because I studied Japanese for a hot minute at school.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. Are you reading the characters from right to left
I
or
don't
something?
know.
I don't know. So that might not be that exciting. It sounds hard.
So essentially, manga is just like the written version of anime.
Okay,
Like
gotcha.
yeah.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that summary from you.
Thanks. And then you've got the element of cosplay.
Yeah.
So that's the practice of dressing up as a character from a film or a book or a video game. And it kind of gives people, I guess, that creative expression to just, I don't know, that they have this fandom appreciation for these characters. They like dressing up. They have that social connection with other
bit
people.
fetishy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of a bit like culty,
fantasy
really.
sort of.
But it is like a platform where people can be themselves, embody characters they admire and connect with like-minded individuals. So I kind of like that side of it.
I watched Tintin and Baba growing up.
What are they?
Are you joking? Tintin? Did you
The
never
hell is
Google
that?
Tintin as you sit here? You will recognise Tintin. Did you not watch Tintin?
No,
the,
I've never
the
even
cartoon?
heard of that.
Oh, please stop! The little bald man, the little alfalfa-looking man.
Oh my God, I've never
Are you
ever seen
joking?
That. But that's not anime. That's
no,
not.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
I didn't watch anime. I watched Tintin. And do you
Is
know
Baba
Baba?
the Baba? Baba. So you said Baba.
Oh,
It's Baba,
Baba.
the elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched
But
that.
all I have heard about in the last...
I googled Baba, which is what you first said, cartoon, and,
and
it's
it's
come
a
up
little...
with like a Hindu man sitting
Yeah,
with
that
his
ain't-
legs crossed doing meditation.
no, that's not Baba.
No,
Or Tintin.
no.
All I've heard about over the last few weeks, can I say, though, is K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh my God, I heard that on the way here on the radio this morning. It is so unbelievably popular.
Is it? Is that anime?
Yes.
Well, okay.
don't
No,
know.
so sorry. I asked that question, but I actually Googled it. The difference between K-pop and anime. K-pop is a music genre, while anime is a form of animation. K-pop focuses on performance and music, while anime offers diverse storytelling through animation. Maybe, though, because isn't it a movie that's a cartoon? So maybe it's a combination of anime and K-pop.
Well, yeah, and I guess it's like,
I don't know.
do you know what? I guess it's a way of, it's two different ways, I guess, of storytelling, isn't it? Because one is like storytelling through music, one storytelling through characters and.
But these
in a
Demon
show.
Hunter, this Demon Hunter show, is that anime of K-pop? Is that cartoon K-pop?
I don't know.
I still
This
don't
is where
get it.
I'm so confused. We actually needed to go in more prepared and ask more questions to the people.
No,
there.
but I've Googled my anus off and I still
Yeah,
don't
I
understand
know.
what's going
Same.
on. Liberty, what do you know about Japanese culture in general, my sweet angel
Do you
friend?
know what? I feel like the things I know are things that I guess I've been told from people that have travelled to the country. Like,
Yes.
people are very well mannered. They are quite tradition based and I guess history based.
Culture focus.
Yeah, very kind, very harmonious. They're very big on etiquette. Like you hear about, taking your shoes off before you enter a restaurant, that you can't eat on the streets.
Or as
so
you're
there's
walking
no
or
rubbish.
something,
Yeah. No phones on. No one's on their phones on public transport. Apparently, I don't know if it's illegal, but it's just very frowned
God,
upon.
we are going to be stuffed when we go to Japan
I
later in
know.
the year.
And yeah, like very delicate. Like I picture delicate foods,
Yes.
tea houses.
So much care and love in everything.
Lovely clean gardens and temples. I
Yes.
don't know. It's just
Manicured
this
gardens.
harmonious, lovely, well-mannered
I reckon
culture.
that's why Japan is popping off. I reckon the word is
Yeah.
getting out. I think we do not see enough kindness and care and love in
Yeah.
this world, so everyone's flocking to Japan. we obviously haven't been yet. We are going at the end
so
of the year.
excited.
I love the culture of what I see on social media and TV and what I hear. That's all what I'm going on.
I also feel like technology, they are streets ahead in technology. Oh
In
my
Japan?
God.
I know that's, you know.
Are you kidding? They have all the robot cafes and all that sort of stuff. My
Oh,
God,
yes.
yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
And then just the costume and the sort of
the
comic vibes, like people
tradition.
in, just all that.
colour.
Oh,
I love Japanese food.
Oh, same.
Oh, my God. And yeah, as you said, the people seem so nice.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
And respectful. I think
Yeah.
respect among families, respect
Yes.
your elders. I love that. But yeah,
Yes.
everything I know is kind of just hearsay.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to. I've never been so excited
Me
to go anywhere in my
too.
entire life than I am Japan.
Same. I'm so excited.
Right. So then, are you a big cartoon gal in general?
No,
Or did
my
you
God.
watch any adult? Did you or do you watch any adult cartoon? Now, some ones that Jen, our producer, has given us. She often provides us sort of some trigger questions
Yes.
as we're
Some
preparing.
dot points.
Now, this is what she's listed. BoJack Horseman. What
the hell is that?
The Simpsons. Yep, cool. I watched one of the. You'd watch that on a Saturday morning as you were getting
I was
up.
just going to say, I actually did used to watch that religiously on a Saturday morning.
Archer. No idea what that is. South Park. I think you'd kind of just watch it as a school kid just to see naughty words.
Wait, though, when I saw South Park, so weirdly, I dabbled in South Park when I was a little bit younger, but recently my colleague at work was telling me that it's still around. I didn't know it was still around and getting made. Did you know that?
No, but I also don't care.
But also, they did an episode recently of the American president, will not say his name, having sex with Satan, and then they show his penis as being like a little thumb.
Stop.
It is the most inappropriate. It is so wrong.
Who's watching that? Surely it's just adults.
Well, and I'm
And
like,
the
well,
reason
if kids
why
are watching
Lib-
this, it is so wrong. I can't believe this show has not been cancelled.
And the reason why Lib isn't mentioning any names is we're going to the US at the end of the
Yeah.
year as well, and so we just don't want to get ourselves in trouble
Yeah.
and be blocked from the country.
Yeah.
So no comment.
Yeah.
But that sounds quite
Oh,
vulgar.
God,
I
I
don't know. Surely there's like standards of
Yeah.
what can go to air and stuff.
know.
That's like porn, isn't it? And also like
100%.
political sort
Yeah.
of vulgarness.
Yeah.
I don't understand how any of it works. I don't
Neither.
even know how to describe it. But also another one we've got from here is Rick and Morty. I've heard of
I've
those
heard of
people.
that too, but
Are they two little blokes?
I've got no idea.
Okay. Do you watch this stuff, Jen? No. Okay. So she's probably just Googled as well. We could, I don't know, Jen, you could have made these up for all I know, to be quite honest with you. But I'm not going to lie. I have no interest in anything that I've just read out.
Do I? Actually, I would still watch The Simpsons if it was on free to air, but you have to. It's on a streaming service now, so I'm not going to pay to watch that.
Again, verging on not appropriate as a child to watch,
Yeah,
I kind of
bit.
reckon. But I don't want to get too politically correct here. You know, like,
Yeah.
where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
Like, we can't just wrap ourselves in cotton wool, can
Yeah.
we? We need to be involved in the real world. Do you have any preconceived ideas of what anime is?
Oh, was that the end of the question?
Yeah, well, who do you think it's sort of geared toward?
Your inflection
before?
sort of-
No, I was just thinking what I wanted to add to that. What were you thinking going in, and what were you thinking the community of fans would be like, you know?
I genuinely pictured Sailor Moons running around
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
That's exactly what I pictured. Little rosy cheeks, pigtails.
Yeah, cute.
Lots of costumes, ribbons in the hair. I was picturing a lot of teenagers as the primary
Yes.
sort of
Demographic.
audience of this. And I imagined it being people being heavily into it. Everyone dressed up, everyone in costumes,
Yes.
everyone obsessed,
Yes.
very like-minded.
Yes. So I'd never really thought about any of it because I don't care. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. But given this question was in front of me, I thought about it. And I agree. I just sort of think Sailor Moon.
Yeah, totally.
And I also think of it as being quite theatrical
Yes.
and sort of a word you dropped earlier, a bit sort of cult-esque.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this convention was not on any level on my radar. I did not know it existed.
I didn't either, and I certainly would never go out of my
own no
choice.
volition.
Yeah.
So the reason that we went is because we actually Googled what are some niche conventions
yeah.
that we can attend.
Because there's like your Comic-Cons and things like that. We've
Yes.
talked about doing something like that.
and what do you know? This popped up at such a beautiful time.
Perfect time. It was meant to be.
It certainly was. But yeah, I certainly wasn't going to go dressed up.
Oh, Christ, no.
I just really want to go in as my authentic, judgmental self. Lib, I'll give you a bit of backstory on how Animaga started.
Whatever it is, yep.
So it was created to fill the void left in Melbourne's anime community after the previous large convention called Manifest concluded in 2013. Our former Manifest trader, Colin Chan, founded Animaga to revive a convention experience for fans, creating a supportive platform for traders and artists and foster the local anime, manga and gaming culture. Good on you, Cole.
Well, it was we went to go on the Saturday and it was sold out.
out.
So
Yeah.
you're doing something right, Cole, because
Yeah.
this event sold out and there was trillions of people there.
It's the leading Australian convention that celebrates anime, manga and Japanese pop culture. It promised to be a spectacular weekend filled with star power, community energy and non-stop content, and that it was.
Oh,
to
wasn't
a
it
T.
ever? So it was at the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre, obviously here in Melbourne, which I would say is probably like the biggest event space in Melbourne.
I wouldn't
It's
have a
got
clue. Maybe the
huge-
showgrounds could.
Well, yeah. I mean, it would be maybe on par with that, but
Compete
it's
with that.
huge. So we drove and parked a little while away and we walked in.
Oh, getting in and out's a nightmare. Can I
Getting
just
in and
warn
out
you?
is an absolute nightmare. But truthfully, all we had to really do was follow the little sailor
Follow the
moons.
leaders.
Follow the little sailor
So
moons.
this, yes, went over 2 days.
Yeah.
It's been going since 2014, so I guess we're in the 11th year, although who knows what happened during COVID. Oh, God, everyone would have been
God, they would
cooped
have
up
lost
and
their minds.
wanting their little inner anime to come out during that time.
And I think there's one in Sydney and one in
Well,
Melbourne.
in 2026, it will expand to Sydney for the first time,
okay.
taking place at the ICC Sydney on March 14 and
Right.
15. So get around that,
There's
guys.
a market for it.
The price of tickets, general admin for adults was $43 each. Cheaper for kids, obviously. I think under a certain age was free. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
$43
Bit
was
steep.
yeah.
Although bit steep for us.
As people who don't care
I'm
about
sure that
this.
actually would have been quite cheap.
I also was confused
others.
about what you aforementioned around Comic-Con and stuff. So that's a broad pop culture convention encompassing comics, movies, TV, gaming and more. While Animaga Mega Moo is an anime-focused convention featuring anime, manga, Japanese culture, as we mentioned, and related artists and guests. It previously, I believe, partnered with Comic-Con in some way, but it now operates independently with a specific focus on the anime
Because
community.
it's so popular.
Also, there's Australia hosts conventions like Supernova and similar pop
yeah.
culture events that celebrate superheroes and other fandoms. Oh,
Wow.
I can't keep up. But what we did read on the tickets, it had a warning which horrified you, Lib. It said, arrive early to avoid queues.
Well, I was like, and I said to you, I don't even line up in a queue for things that I
Yes,
like.
Yes.
Let
So
alone something like this.
this threw you. And we got there. It started at 10 and we got there at about 10:30. And I was like, oh, God, are we going to be stuck in queues of big fans? You
which
know?
we weren't. Which was
We
good.
weren't. People line up early for Animaga to get prime spots for popular attractions like guest panels, autograph sessions, and photo booths, as availability is often limited or first come, first served. Early arrival also ensures they can participate in activities such as the Artist Alley, cosplay competitions, and gaming zones before they become too crowded or sell out, maximising their overall experience at the convention.
Wow, well, can I flag something? Before we even walked into the room, so there's like a main room where all of the stalls and everything were. We were walking along and there was, like a bit of a check-in desk and that sort of thing. And then there was a stall that said weapon and props check. So that's where people that bring their swords and their batons and whatever else
Their
they
batons.
have to go and check and make sure that they're not actually dangerous.
So it was, everyone walked straight past
Straight
that.
past.
No one declared anything.
Yep.
And then inside, there were weapons being sold that I'm genuinely not quite sure whether they were real or fake. They were
Yeah.
being sold for about $130 a pop, and they looked
Oh!
so authentic. I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't sure what was real life and what was fake life.
There was also a lot of, even people out in the sort of outdoor courtyard before you go in, there was people doing TikTok dances and having photos, doing all specific poses
Photo
with their little,
shoots and-
hands up and whatever. Oh, it was quite spectacular. From the moment we sort of even walked in
Yes.
to the waiting area, our jaws were just on the floor. We just couldn't believe the things that we were seeing.
I saw a girl in a ballerina recital recital kind of outfit, and I assumed that meant we were on the right path as we walked in. But no, she was there for CheerCon. Because what we didn't realise was there's also, I said to you, what do you mean? Like you're learning this for the first time. I said, look what else is on.
And I was like,
CheerCon. So a cheerleading convention, which I would have quite happily watched. I love cheerleading.
How fun. I love that. What's a Bring It On movie? That's one of my favourite movies
And also
of all
we've been
time.
watching the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader stuff.
Heaven.
And then also there was like some sort of powerlifting thing. There was
strength.
a real gamut of different types there, wasn't there? You said to me at one point, there you go, a Sailor Moon. Follow the Sailor Moons. So that's how we knew where to go. I said to you, how are we going to keep a straight face? But that fear changed when we went in. It was just Respect City. The moment we hit the larger gallery of people, nobody was embarrassed. Everyone was empowered and happy and proud, which we'll sort of get more into as we go on. But I started the day feeling judgmental, but finished the day feeling humbled.
Because to be honest, we were probably the ones that stood out the most. We were the only ones there not really in costume, because even some people were in jeans, but they would have a T-shirt.
A themed T-shirt.
With a character on the front.
Yes.
So we didn't have one single thing on. But let me tell you, some of the costumes, there were pigtails, pink hair, blue hair, gothic costumes. There were angel wings, fake elf ears, chainsaws coming out of heads and arms, heads wrapped completely in bandages with blood on it.
That nurse lady who had her whole face
That was
blocked out with
scary.
a bandage
That was truly,
freaky.
truly
She was
quite
covered in
scary
blood. And the
confronting.
chainsaw man who had chainsaws coming out of his waist and his face and
his
his
head
shoulders.
and-
I asked for a photo,
Yeah.
so please enjoy that on social media.
There was, high-heeled boots, which were the sort of more Sailor Moon type things. There were jesters, but then there were like plushed animals. There was knights. There was...
I had no idea what was going on.
A bit of everything. A bit of everything.
It felt like Halloween. I swear I saw a Gandalf.
What's a Gandalf?
You know, from, is it Lord of the Rings?
I've never
or
watched
like,
that.
or like that sort of, who's the Harry Potter bloke?
Dobby.
No, who's the main magician man? Harry Potter, Gandalf,
Dumbledore,
and Dumbledore. Sorry, Jen's mortified.
yeah,
I saw
actually,
a few Dumbledore.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
swear
true,
to God,
true.
I'm telling you, when I say I had no idea what was going on, I had no idea what was going on. There was Darth Vader as well. I swear to God, there was Darth Vader.
We just walked around the whole time just saying to each other, what
is going on?
I am so confused. Everything just surprised me. I just didn't know what the hell
But also
was
as
happening.
well, people were wearing hospital masks.
Yeah, heaps.
And I wasn't
heaps
sure whether
were.
that's because they were sick, they didn't want to get sick, or whether it was a character.
costume.
Yeah. So the chainsaw man, I said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm
Chainsaw Man. No, he
the
was Chainsaw Man.
And I was like, "Oh yeah. Cool,
He said,
cool.
I'm Chainsaw Man from the Chainsaw Man anime.
Oh my God,
And there were whole families dressed up together in different characters. So this was a whole
it was
family sort of vibe. There were a lot of friends. There were a lot of, families. But in terms of percentages, adults to kids,
20% kids, I reckon.
it was out. I couldn't
It was
believe
bizarre.
it.
So, when you just think you're cool, right? And then you go into a space like LARPing or this anime gear and you think these people are going to be goobies and that you're the cool one.
Yeah.
You quickly learn in those environments that you're the uncool one because you're the minority and you're the one that's not getting into it or embracing it properly.
I'd agree. I'd disagree on that. I actually
still
still
felt
felt
cool.
quite
Nah,
cool.
brother.
Only because though I looked at it and I was like, this isn't something I'm remotely interested in. But I felt on the outer in terms of I still felt cool, but I felt on the outer because I wasn't part of the community.
I just feel like what we did was give it the respect it deserves. So,
totally.
Because I went in just looking around being like, oh my God, like look at these people. Like, what is going on? But like literally within a minute, I was like, power to you all. I love you all. Get around it.
And do you know what it was? It was curiosity and fascination, I reckon, were our things of just jaws on the floor at every single thing we looked at. Now, to sort of describe it, so you basically walked in and there were rows of stalls and these had everything from stickers and paintings and
Key
T-shirts
rings
and comics and
and
jewellery and
magnets
plush toys and
tea
collectibles
towels.
and swords and... Oh, I was expecting you to keep going.
No.
So, yeah, there were lots of that and people just
Tattoos.
buying different little bits and pieces. But then there was activity stations, so like trading cards. There was people sitting by themselves, building little Lego anime characters.
Well, we don't know it was Lego. We weren't quite sure what they were building.
Well, it looked like it because they were sort of
blocks.
Building
anime blocks.
People reading comics. There was like a little gaming station where people were doing those, dance routines and little, pressing on buttons and stuff. There were photo booths, and then there was our favourite section, the dance.
Oh my God.
Stage.
There was dancing and prancing and singing and panels set up and trivia areas and that, if we can name a highlight.
Oh.
It was this one stage and there was always performers and they were Sailor Moon looking people always. There was a group first and then there was one lass on her own. And she looked like she was almost in a Japanese school uniform a bit, but like a cartoon-esque sort of school uniform. But who were her biggest fans, Lib?
Oh, sorry, but I've truly never seen anything like this in my whole life.
Grown men.
There was this group of grown men. I'm talking probably late 20s to maybe like mid-40s that were the passion and the commitment.
They were chanting.
I was actually quite in awe.
Same.
They were chanting. I've actually got video of it, so I'll pop that on our social media. But they were doing the most exaggerated dance moves. They knew the words to every single song that came up. They were leaping forward at certain bits. They were...
It was a mosh pit.
It was a sight to behold. We
they
kept
were
going
fisting
back.
the air. They were, but the person they were celebrating was like a schoolgirl type. It was so utterly bizarre to me.
And she was sort of like, she had this high-pitched sort of voice, like it was almost like a child doing a performance of whatever. And because she was singing and she was doing this dance and it was like, hey, let's go, hey.
And then these grown men were like,
hey, and like putting their arms in and stuff. It was unbelievable. It was a sight to behold. And we walked away from this. We went back multiple times. And Eliza goes, we walked away and Eliza goes, that was addictive. And it truly was. I could have stood there all day just watching these people.
Same. Do you know, it was like we'd been abducted by aliens is how I feel about the whole thing.
And plonked in this convention.
Alternate world. So, as you mentioned, there was sort of stalls set up at different stages. These are some of the labels on the stalls. Cami Fox, Tengu Games, Plamo Workshop, mystical card games on tables is sort of what was happening in the Plamo Workshop. Learn how to Shadowverse, Hama Film, Pixel Crib, Amado, Kawaii Twinkle, Lolita area. I was like, is this in Japanese or is it just a made up name? Or but everyone else knew what was going on.
And do you know, the thing as well that was confusing is that there were these panels set up and all of these people were obviously in character, but then there was panels of voice actors. So voice actors are essentially people that just voice a animated character.
Yes.
And for me, I was like, people were listening so intensely to this. And there was also translators because obviously a lot of them only speak Japanese because they're Japanese films or whatever. And I was sitting there thinking, like, are these people famous? And are people so excited to see these voice actors because they just love the character so much that the person behind the character, they're frothy. I just was like, what's going on? Who are all these people?
I know. I really didn't understand what was going on. But also what made it stranger was the fact that there was no camera
you couldn't take video
photo stuff allowed in that area. And, the lady introducing a particular voice actor said, normally this is very rare because normally in Japan you wouldn't be allowed to ask a voice actor
any
about
questions?
Their personal life.
Yeah.
It's all about their character and stuff. I was like, what is going on?
It's like you with the Truman Show. It was the Truman Show sort of
I thought
gear.
someone was going to jump out and say you're punk.
My favourite thing was the cosplay repair store. That absolutely floored me. So you could literally go in your costume and if you had a little hole in it or something, you could get that repaired.
There were cosplay change rooms. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I had no idea what was going on.
Oh, me. I felt quite out of place.
In terms of any sexual stuff, it didn't exist.
Nothing at all.
No.
Nothing at all. There was nothing inappropriate.
Very G-rated.
Nothing sexualized. It was all very positive and lovely.
I put into Google, has anyone found love at Animanga? And it said, while there is no direct information confirming people finding romantic love at Animaga, it's highly probable, as anime conventions are large gatherings of people with shared interests, creating natural opportunities to meet and form meaningful connections, including romantic ones. People often meet and form relationships at events based on shared hobbies, and an anime convention provides an ideal environment for this. I wonder if there's also sort of like a sexual component to it. Like, do these people dress up in the bedroom like this? Is it a fetish?
Guaranteed. I've no doubt.
do
I've
you
absolutely
think
no
that
doubt.
maybe it's just, like,
But they're so obsessed.
no, but that I reckon that's us being judgmental, because those blokes that were watching this schoolgirl doing this thing, it was like that they were watching the Beatles, right? So
yeah, like there was
Be-
nothing
and the-
sexual about it, and there was nothing of them being
No.
like, "Oh, this chick's so
this young
hot."
girl-
It was literally just like, "Yo, yo, 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 yo."
So they're not going home and dressing up
No.
as the Beatles in their bedroom. Like people who like the Beatles weren't dressing up as the Beatles in the bedroom and like, oh, I'm Paul McCartney. Like,
Yeah, and I guess
froth.
like a nurse is going home and dressing up in a nurse costume.
Yeah,
Probably not.
No, well, so like I don't know that I
Maybe
don't
not,
know if
yeah.
it does translate to the bedroom,
Yeah.
whether or it's just an everyday joy passion for
Yeah.
these people.
So I guess the thing that surprised me the most about this was just how into it everyone was and the effort that everyone put into their costumes. Like you said before, I felt like I was in an alternate universe.
Yep.
I was so confused. I didn't know what was happening. I was wandering around gasping at every little thing that happened and taking everything in with such curiosity. I was surprised by the ratio of like adults to kids.
Same.
Because it was truly mostly adults, which was bizarre.
Buying little pink stickers. I mean, have you ever seen
Yes.
anything like it?
There was a lot of sort of Labubu-esque little plush toys you could buy.
Yes,
and
but
things
not an
hanging off.
actual Labubu
No.
in sight, which I was just
Yeah.
absolutely stoked about.
That's so true. But I absolutely loved the community of it. I loved how comfortable everyone was being themselves. There was no shame, no negativity, no judgment. Everyone was complimenting each other. And I noticed how many people were going up to each other, complimenting them on their costume and
Yes.
saying, "Can I have a photo?" Asking each other for, inspiration in outfits. No one looked at each other in a sort of like, "Ugh, what are you wearing?"
Yep.
kind of way.
Yep.
No one cared what anyone else thought.
Yeah.
No one made anyone feel uncomfortable. I just loved the fact that, and like anything, people get together and support their sporting team. It was like that, but just people getting together as a community with something in common, feeling a sense of belonging and community. And it was just really cool to see. I loved that
Bar
side
the
of it.
weapons, right? Whether
Yeah.
you weren't sure whether they were real or fake.
Yeah.
It was a very safe space.
Oh, totally.
I did expect it to be slightly more grandiose
Yes.
in terms of it was a bunch of interchangeable stall and stages. I thought maybe there would be themed food at the kiosk.
Yep.
The food was normal at the kiosk.
Yep.
That there was a bubble tea Happy Panda stand,
Which
but that was
they're
it for
around
themed.
everywhere
Yeah,
anyway.
that was the only sort
Yeah,
of
there
themed.
wasn't a whole heap of like
food and drink.
decorations on the
Yeah,
walls and the
yep.
ceiling and or projections or that kind of thing. So in terms of like theatre, the only real theatre of it was the costume, I guess.
Yes.
And just
And
but
the
yeah, then there was just sort of
performances.
gridded stalls with stuff on
on
there.
concrete floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it was still so magnificently run.
Oh yeah. Very well organised.
Very well organised. There was an accessibility restroom because it
Yeah.
was a highly stimulated
Yes.
area.
Yes.
Tell you what though, not a single person watched the block. There,
Oh, you knew
just
that for
knew
sure?
that for sure. Nobody gave two shits about us, which is, like
Eliza
that's fine. No
dislikes
one
that
does.
highly.
No one really knows anyway anymore. But
Yeah.
I just knew going in there was not a
Yeah.
single reality TV watcher here. We were definitely the only Housewives viewers, Housewives
God,
of the OC
yeah.
viewers.
Yeah, they're spending their time watching anime. We spend ours watching Real Housewives.
Yeah. So the grown men, that was very grown groups of
Yeah.
men. That was very
Yeah.
confronting to me, but in a
Strange.
quite nice
Yeah.
way. The nut bush was happening at one
Oh,
point
yeah.
somewhere.
I've got video of that too, which I'll share. Oh, I took that many videos and things. It's heaven.
And as someone who wants to get into gaming, you really frothed and were
Well, yeah,
magnetised to the
look,
gaming
come
zone.
on. The gaming that was happening at this joint was not the sort of gaming that I want to get into. Like, I'm talking those, you know, when you step on the colours that come up in a dance routine. There was like the little pressing of buttons.
Pac-Man type
Yeah,
stuff.
Pac-Man type gear, like playing drums on a thing. I'm more talking about Mario Kart and, you know, Diddy Kong.
Anyway,
style
but you
gear.
were still mesmerised.
Okay, sorry, you asked me the question and then you say, oh, and anyway.
Well, anyway, your mouth was
anyway,
agape.
so
Your
just
mouth was
anyway.
agape. Your
Yeah.
mouth was agape.
Not because I wanted to do it, more just because it was incredible.
Right, so
to see.
sorry. Am I...
Can you stop interrupting me?
Oh, are you still going?
I was talking and you said, anyway.
Well, so in summary, you're not an anime gamer, you don't think. You're a Nintendo gamer.
That's what I just said.
Okay,
yes.
I just wanted to summarise that
Yeah.
long-winded answer. So do you feel like this is a community you could get involved in future?
Absolutely not. I can absolutely appreciate it, but there is no way in hell I would want to get involved.
I literally had written, Lib, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm
Same.
with you there. Involved is a strong word. What I did appreciate was, yes, this futuristic wonderland that was created,
Yep.
the escapism, the joy that we saw that felt childlike.
Yeah.
As you said, it was addictive. I just the whole time was mouth agape, and I just loved the passion. So,
See, for me, the reason why I don't reckon it's my vibe is because it's very much a creative vibe. It's about storytelling. It's got all these like complex themes
and dress
in it.
ups, you
Yeah, I just have zero interest in that. I'm not a creative person. I
only
also
wear Henny, the brand
Yeah.
of clothing. So, like,
I'm literally wearing all Henny today,
yeah,
by the way.
you don't like colour.
No, I also feel like it's a very much, like you said before, escapism, but a make-believe world. And I sort of feel like I prefer to stay in the real world, although
Yeah.
maybe it would be good for us to escape. But I also feel like my escape is watching reality TV.
Yeah.
That is my escape, and I'm happy to stick with that.
Well, it's interesting to know that we sort of felt a discomfort around LARPing and also in this environment. I mean, this environment was better because we could just more observe. And that's, I love that role of observing.
Yeah.
If you'd said you have to dress up and go and dance and participate, I would have really struggled with that.
Well, I actually do have a note in here, though, saying maybe we need to do it next year, but up the ante and actually get dressed up and immerse ourselves fully in it.
I know, but I also don't want to take the piss.
No,
Do you
I
know
don't
what
think it would be
mean?
taking the piss. It's just like,
But I think if we do that, we need
immersing
to actually be
ourselves.
passionate about a character or one of the shows or
well,
whatever.
another note I've put here is that I've never watched anime, and I never will.
I just really liked how everyone felt completely free to be themselves and those people who were sitting by themselves. I felt sad looking at them, but they were happy and
Oh
they
my God, everyone was
would have connected with
so
others.
excited.
And I really made an effort to switch off my judginess and just embrace
Yeah.
everyone and everything. And I wasn't frightened of it, and it was fun.
Yeah. We literally walked out and we said, I loved that.
What are you looking forward to most in Japan, by the way?
The food, the shopping, the 7-Eleven, and in particular like the egg sandwiches, and they do these like strawberry and cream sandwiches. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I just wrote eating.
Yeah.
Eating.
But truly, we actually were speaking yesterday about things that we would do there, and we actually do want to immerse ourselves in the culture of it. I would love to go. They have beautiful gardens and temples and that sort of thing. So I'd love to do that.
I want to see Harajuku people.
Yeah, but there's certainly, I didn't walk away from that convention wanting to do more because of that, or wanting to do anything different because of that.
No, but for me, I learned something about myself again. I'm like,
The
just
judgmentalness,
reminded
yeah.
constantly I'm such a judgmental
Yeah.
human. And when you just embrace other people's passions and beliefs and just open yourself up to experiences, it's just a wonderful thing. You can only grow from it.
And just
but as you said, we now are even Googling what we can do
I know.
around this, because for me, I just want to observe it and absorb it more.
Yeah, so we need to go to more of the conventions. We need to go to the cheerleading conventions. We need to go to Comic-Con. We need to
Yeah.
do all of the above.
I've said to you before, what I'm attracted to in a man is
Confidence in...
their passion
Yeah.
in their craft.
Yeah.
And so I was so impressed.
Yeah, it sort of is quite inspiring looking at people and being like,
Yes.
the fact that you have the confidence to just dress up, be yourselves, not, worry about people laughing at you because they're just not, because it was all so positive. It actually is quite
It
inspiring.
was refreshing. So, Lib, would you try again or rather die?
I don't feel the need to try it again, but I do think we could up the ante.
I loved it so much.
Yeah.
I loved it, and I kept on being like, one more song.
Yeah, you actually were.
And I am an observer.
Yeah.
That is, I would try again as an observer.
Yeah, okay.
But I loved it.
It was
loved
spectacular.
I
I did-
loved it.
Did you love it?
I loved it.
It was
I
very,
just
very
loved
good.
everything it represented.
Well, look, I would go as far as to say Animega could be our Hall of Fame member for this week because it was so wonderful. But we're actually going to go into the Hall of Fame for this week.
I thought you were like, we're dropping the Hall of Fame this week.
No.
Okay.
But just because it was so spectacular and we loved it so much.
We're giving a Hall of Fame award to the Animanga Animaga.
All right. Our Hall of Fame this week is by an anonymous gentleman. Hi, gals. This meme made me laugh out loud and instantly think of Eliza, and honestly, I felt seen. So this was just a meme that we put on our socials. I've been catching up on your podcast and I truly cannot get enough. I'm listening at every possible moment on my 6-minute drive to work instead of watching TV, while cooking dinner, even during a very on-theme bathroom break, listening to your poop chat while taking a poop. Full immersion. The other night, I was preparing a succulent evening meal, knife in hand, veggies lined up, and you two launched into the bit about getting caught in the act with a car's exhaust pipe. This is a fairly old episode.
Remember we talked about watching My Strange Addiction where people have sex with their exhaust pipes.
That was it. I was done. Mid-zucchini slice, I lost all bodily control and collapsed into a full body cackle, knife still in hand, mind you. Bent over the bench, gasping for air, tears running down my face. I thought if someone walked past right now, they'd assume I was possessed or deeply, deeply committed to the bit. And I would 100% salute them with an heartfelt aye, Captain. You girls are the absolute best. Love your work. Love you. Never stop.
God love.
Isn't that spectacular?
Spectacular. God
wow.
love. You're either a fan of the gear that
or
we're chatting about,
highly not,
or you're just not.
Yeah.
And there are people who are not going to be, and
Which
that's
is fair.
okay. You can go and listen to your prissy little podcast.
Yeah, because we ain't going to ever do anything
It ain't going to
differently.
be clean here. Thank you so much. Well, that's it for today.
That is it for today.
Another
But make
positive.
sure you follow us on Instagram, Eliza and Liberty. We're going to have a lot of polls. We're going to have a lot of little bits and pieces to share with you from
Great
our
pictures,
anime
Chainsaw
convention, Animaga, whatever.
And, you know, the iApple's still there if you want to do
And the iSpotify.
If you want to do a what's
review.
it called? Review.
And a 5-star rating.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you next time.
Try before you die.